This is the new Audi TTRS Iconic Edition, and it's a little bit like wearing a sassy, glitzy dress to your end of school prom, because this is the end of an era for Audi and the TT. It's the last TT, and to mark the occasion, they've done a super version. Now in this video, I'm going to tell you all about the upgrades to the exterior, the interior. I'm going to tell you what it's like to drive. I'm also going to tell you what's good about it, what's not so good about it, and of course I'm going to launch it to see how quick it really is from 0 to 60 miles an hour. Because I'm Matt Watson, and you're watching Car Wow. Buy, sell, Car Wow. I'm going to start this video by talking about the engine and the upgrades that Audi has made to it. So it's a 2.5 litre 5-cylinder turbo petrol that puts out 400 horsepower and 480 newton meters of torque. Wait a minute, that's the same horsepower and torque as a normal TTRS. Have Audi not done anything to the engine?
No.
The swan song for the...
Not a thing.
Oh, anyway. It drives all 4 wheels via a Haldex all-wheel drive system and a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic gearbox. I'm a little bit disappointed. There is one thing. The car's top speed is 174 miles an hour. The normal TTRS, its top speed is limited to 155 miles an hour. That's not that useful. Anyway, it's still quick, and let's find out exactly how quick it is. I'm going to launch it. Audi says the TTRS will do 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds. What's the reality? Specialist timing gear will reveal all. It's quick. Done. That's simple. 3.66 seconds. It's insane how easy that is and how well it launches. Just like the normal TTRS, the Iconic Edition has upgraded RS brakes. So you've got 370mm discs up front, gripped by 8 piston calipers. So they do cheap out a bit on the back brakes. They have 310mm discs, braked by a single piston caliper. Anyway, let's see what the performance of these brakes are like. Brake test! Let's see how long it takes to stop from 60 miles an hour. Needs to do it in less than 34 meters, really. Can it though? Here we go. Less than 34. What's a specialist timing gear saying? And it does it! 33 meters. That is good. Compared to the normal Audi TT, the RS version sits lower to the ground on stiffer suspension. It also has beefier anti-roll bars, and the Iconic Edition gets the optional adaptive dampers as standard. But that's the only upgrade that Audi has made to this car chassis. They haven't done any further work on it. Just like with the engine, they've just not bothered to develop it further for this end-of-the-line celebration model. That's just lazy. Anyway, let's take it for a drive and hope that the fact that it's called the Iconic Edition and it's got some styling upgrades makes it feel better to drive than the standard RS. Who knows? Okay, let's see what this is like to drive on a twisty road. So I've got it in dynamic mode, manual mode for the gearbox, stability in sport setting. That'll let it move around a little bit beneath me. I tell you what, this 4-wheel drive system certainly puts down the power when you floor it out of a corner. The suspension in this dynamic mode is a little bit firm on these bouncy British roads, so I'm going to go into individual, where I've set everything to sport apart from the suspension to comfort. This should be better. Might make it lean a bit more in the bends, but I'll take that over the bumps. Steering's pretty sharp on this, but it's all about just that traction. Woo! Yeah, really good, really sure-footed. You can hoon along a twisty road in this thing, you absolutely can. The brakes also give you lots of confidence, and it feels like a stable, precise car to just pilot down narrow British roads at quite alarming speeds. The gearbox is good as well. Pull the paddle and the shifts are instant, really good upshifts, good on the downshift as well. There is one thing with this engine, well, I love the sound of it, and it has great performance. You sometimes do find yourself in a turbo lag hole. You really need to be spinning this engine to get the most of it. I actually thought it might be a bit more torquey lower down. You do have to work it quite hard. Do you know what? I think the engine in the Mercedes-AMG A45S just seems a little bit more ballistic. Never thought I'd say that. Now, if you want to see my full in-depth video review of that car, click on the pop-out banner up there or follow the link in the description below. But other than that, I do love this engine. Just that like burbliness of it with the 5 cylinders. Oh my gosh, I was going down there pretty quickly. Whoa. You do find yourself just like catching up with other traffic really, really quickly. It's a problem with this much performance. You could say it's too much performance, but that'd just be stupid. It's just the right amount of performance. In fact, anyone who says a TTRS is not a fun car to drive is absolutely wrong, because it is. Really is. Admittedly, not sharp as a Porsche Cayman GT4, but still good. Still really good. Oh, it's a sad day that this is the end of the TTRS. It really, really is. What they're going to do next? Oh, whatever it'll be electric. Goodbye, 5-cylinder. Now we need to talk about the price. You see, this iconic edition of the TTRS costs £88,000. That's £27,000 more than the starting price of the standard car. And when you consider there are no mechanical upgrades, why are you paying that extra cash? Let's find out. Let's start at the back with the most noticeable upgrade, this huge spoiler. Bigger than any other fitted to a TT before. It's made out of carbon fibre and it has a swan neck design for the spoiler struts. Moving down here, they've also tweaked the rear diffuser so it's more prominent, and we have carbon fibre here on this lower part and some winglets at the back. Moving to the side, the alloy wheels, which are 20 inches like on a normal TT, however they are now painted black. You've also got Iconic Edition written there. Kind of reminds me of when petrol heads put their Instagram tag on there. Maybe it needs a little at in front of it. Moving down the sides further, we have extended side skirts, black mirror caps, and then round the front, these little canards here, and an extended front splitter, and yet more carbon fibre in there. And the Matrix LED headlights as standard. And that's about it. Oh, there are changes inside. Here on the inside, the Iconic Edition gets the RS styling pack as standard, but with one unique twist. You see, where you get stitching as part of the RS styling pack, such as here and here on the floor mats, normally it'd be red. In this car, as you can see, ooh, 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 stitching's all yellow. And that's it. That is quite literally it. Oh, I tell a lie. It says Iconic Edition there. And there's something special on the top of the gear knob, but I'm not going to let you see that yet. It's going to be worth waiting for. But that is it then. That is it. Doesn't feel like it's worth the extra £27,000, does it? Let me show you some other things about this car, which are exactly the same as a normal TTRS, but they're worth knowing. There are some rear seats with Isofix anchor points, but this is not a particularly happy place. To be fair, this car is better at carrying stuff rather than people, because you have quite a practical boot. So it's got a 305 litre capacity, really helpful lift back tailgate, and you can fold down these useless rear seats. Look at that, loads of room. Liking this. It's more practical than a Porsche 911 Carrera, though it's not actually that much less expensive. In fact, for an extra £9,000, you could have a Porsche 911 Carrera instead of this car. Bit of a no-brainer. And that brings us on to 5 annoying things about the TTRS Iconic Edition. The view out the back window on the Audi TT is very good. However, it's a bit of a shame that the huge rear wing on this TTRS Iconic does block your view ever so slightly. You can tell this car is quite old now, because while it comes with cruise control, no active cruise control with lane keeping assist and radar to keep you a safe distance from the car in front is available at all. The RS Iconic may come with the sports exhaust as standard. Unfortunately, it still has the normal RS's soft limiter at 4,000 RPM, so sounds like I'm doing the vacuuming. Do you like Audi's Nardo grey paint? I hope you do, because it's the only colour you can get the RS Iconic in. Because a TTRS is based on an older platform than the current RS3, it doesn't have that car's clever rear differential, which has a drift mode. There is no drift mode here. Look, you don't have it there, the rear sport diff. However, that does bring me on to 5 cool things about this car, and the fact that you can still individualize the car's sport settings, so you can set up the engine and gearbox, the suspension, the steering, the main quattro differential, and the engine just as you like it, so you can mix and match those parameters. There's Isofix on the front passenger seat, though I'm not entirely sure there's room for a big baby in the car seat. This car comes with a banging Bang & Olufsen stereo as standard, and it is totally wonderful. Just like a Rolls-Royce, the iconic RS has self-leveling wheel caps. Look, when you drive along, the Audi logo is always the right way up. Brilliant. This is a rare car. Only 100 will be made. This is number 31 out of 11 that are coming to the UK alone. This thing should be collectible. Finally then, let's see what this TTRS is like to drive as a daily when you're just mooching about, because, you know, it's got to be able to deliver in that department as well as the performance department, hasn't it? I'd say that really, if you're getting one of these, you need adaptive dampers. Thankfully, they come as standard on this particular version, because they do help ease off the bumps when you've got the car in comfort mode. Even then, it still feels taut, like a very sporty car. Another thing that makes it feel like a very sporty car are the brakes, which are quite sensitive and powerful, so you really have to just get in tune with your right foot as you're braking, otherwise it can feel a bit like jerky. A Porsche Cayman's brakes are more progressive. Speaking of the Porsche Cayman, it has a turning circle of 11 meters, which is the same as this TTRS. Will I make it round in one go, or am I going to cause absolute mayhem? Get round, let's get the parking sensors on. Come on, can't do it, don't, not the little spoilers off the front. Do it. No, that was too tight. Oh, the little reversing camera's quite handy. Although I prefer to have it there than there. Just do natural to just look there. Anyhow, let's get out of there. That was an absolutely pointless demonstration, because even a London taxi would have struggled to do a UE there. Anyway, let's move on to the visibility, because for a sporty car it is very, very good. Great view out the front, decent sized door mirrors, better than a Porsche Cayman for sure, and a BMW M2. But then this car is based on a Golf, which is even more practical with even better visibility, so they've taken that car and made it slightly worse. But for what it is, yeah, really good visibility. And the automatic gearbox is okay in town, though when you're going at really slow speeds, when you're manoeuvring like this, look, it can feel a little bit like, yeah, a little bit jerky, not as smooth as the torque converter automatic gearbox you get in the BMW M2. It's because this is a dual clutch system, and they can just like seem a little bit less good at pulling away. In terms of smoothness, that is. That's quite interesting. I've got stop start, and normally it does my head in by kicking in, but then it didn't. I did want to talk about it, but now it's not going to let me criticise it. Why aren't you working stop start? Right, let me try again, see if it'll do it. You can do it? There we go, it stopped. Did it that time, didn't before, don't know why. That's one of the things about stop start, it's unpredictable. So I generally turn it off and accept the fact that I'm going to reduce my economy ever so slightly. Speaking of which, Audi claims his car will average around 31 miles to the gallon. This one has actually managed 23 miles to the gallon, though since I've been driving it, it's now fallen to 21. Maybe that's because I'm disengaging stop start. However, I think if you're on a motorway, on a run, you will get close to 30s. Maybe not over it, but yeah, close. Ironically, that's similar economy that I was getting out of my Audi S8, and that's a much bigger, much heavier car with a big 4-litre V8. Now, to see my full in-depth video review of that car and what it was like to live with, and to find out more about my new car, click on the pop-out banner up there or follow the link in the description below. Let's get to some faster roads. See what this is like when you're cruising on the motorway. I'm cruising at 40, I'm going to floor it. Bit of a pause and then, yeah, off straight away, and that's 70. Bit of a pause. I've got the car in its auto setting, which is supposed to adjust to your driving style, and when I first planted my foot, it did take a while for the gearbox to wake up and kick down the gears, but then once it did, oh, this car just absolutely motored. Really, really did. One thing I'm noticing now we're going at 70, quite a lot of road noise from the big tyres, and an annoying fluttery wind noise from just around here. It's constant and right in my ear hole. That'd get on my nerves on a long journey, that would. Bit of a shame really, because otherwise it's generally okay. I think as a result of that though, a BMW M2 is an ever so slightly better daily driver. Click on the pop-out banner up there for the link in the description below to watch my full in-depth video review of that car. So then, what's my final verdict on the Audi TTRS Iconic Edition? Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I quite like the Audi TTRS, but I think you should avoid this Iconic Edition because it's just way too much money for far too few extras. Anyway, you can't buy one because they're all sold out. Oh, there is actually one available online that I found used. That's up for £94,000. So it's fetching £6,000 worth of overs. Anyway, I hope you'll enjoy the video. If you did, give it a like. Let me know what you think of this particular car in the comments below. If you want to watch some more videos, yeah, just click on those windows there. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to this channel by hitting that there, the CarWow logo. Just hit it. No, don't hit it, subscribe, you know. And the bell icon, don't forget the bell icon. That's important, so you're alerted when we upload.